Miss Redmond, here is a new attendance chart for your class. There will be a new student joining today. He's a foreigner. In the middle of the year? Alright, that makes a class of 32 now. Chris, remember this isn't Australia. Try not to get into trouble on your first day of school. Don't argue with anyone, and don't fight with anyone, alright? Okay, Mom. The Ledger family recently moved to the US, all the way from Australia, when Mr. Ledger had received a job offer here. Chris wasn't too happy about the move. He had to leave behind all his friends, all his family relatives, and especially his adventurous lifestyle. But hey, what say did Chris have in this? He walked through the front gates of the school and spotted the main office, where he picked up his classroom and locker number of other necessary information. Homeroom in room number 116. Great, another foreign kid, as if there weren't enough immigrant kids in the school already. At least this one's from Australia. There won't be a language problem. Yeah, he's from Australia, land of all the strange creatures. Who knows what kind of kid he is? Chris found room number 116 rather easily. The door was open, and seeing two teachers inside, he politely knocked on the door. Just when another student bumped into him and went inside. Why are you knocking on the door, man? That's when Miss Redmond noticed Chris. Are you the one from Australia? She called out. Yes, Chris Ledger. Miss Redmond, she said with a heavy sigh, as if she were annoyed. She ushered him inside and called Detention to the front. Students, this is Chris Ledger. He's a new student here. She then turned to Chris. You can take a seat. There's still 10 minutes to first period. With that, she went out the door with her colleague, and Chris sat down in one of the empty seats in the middle. What do you think you're doing in my seat? Chris looked up at a guy staring at him. Are all the seats assigned to the students? That's when a few others started laughing around him. He's fresh meat. Newbie. Bob. All of a sudden, a girl walked up to Chris. Listen, kangaroo, you will sit where we tell you to sit, and you won't sit where we tell you not to sit. Got it? Before Chris could respond, the bell rang and Miss Redmond returned inside. Lucky you got saved by the bell. Chris stayed put in his seat as everyone else sat down, giving him a glare. The girl in front of him turned around and smiled, fixing her glasses. Hi, I'm Amy. Don't mind them. That's Jennifer and Dan and their friends. They're a little like that. Chris didn't suppose he would have to deal with too much trouble, but throughout the day, Jennifer and her gang couldn't stop poking fun at him. During class. Alright, who can classify these species in categories? Yes, Jennifer, go ahead. Is the answer kangaroo, Miss Wilson? Kangaroos are pretty interesting animals. Miss Wilson, is it true that kangaroos are really stubborn? Yeah, I heard you can't tame a kangaroo. At the cafeteria. Aw man, it's too bad we don't have Vegemite, bro. Yeah, can't have my breakfast, lunch, or dinner without some good old kangaroo meat and Vegemite. Me mom makes me Vegemite on toast for breakfast every day, mate. At the gymnasium. Come on, another round. Mr. Brown, we're tired. I can really hop on a kangaroo and make rounds right about now. Enough with the jokes. Let's go. Mr. Brown, come on, give us a water break. We really gotta water our kangaroos, mate. Come time for their last period, Chris had just about enough. He couldn't wait to get back home. However, this time as Chris sat down in class and took out his notebook, he suddenly felt a push on his back. He turned to see Dan. Don't put your hands on me, Chris said, absolutely annoyed at this point. Didn't know kangaroos had an attitude too. You want a box, mate? I don't think you want to box me. What is it, you two chicken? No man, it's just not his day. He didn't have his Vegemite. All of a sudden, everyone started to huddle around them and cheer,
Fight, 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 fight.
As soon as Miss Redmond stepped in, everyone took their seat. What is going on here? Jennifer quickly stepped up. Miss Redmond, Chris was spreading these inappropriate notes around the class. You can check his notebook. Chris looked at Jennifer confused. What? That's not true. Miss Redmond gave Chris a glance. Your notebook, please. Are you serious? There's nothing in this. She's lying. Chris handed Miss Redmond his book, just when he noticed a smirk appear on Jennifer's face. As Miss Redmond flipped the pages, she suddenly froze. How despicable one has to be. Miss Redmond placed the notebook down and ripped out the page. When Chris caught a glimpse of what was inside, it was a dirty picture of Miss Redmond doing. Jennifer must have drawn it inside when Dan was trying to distract him. They planned this out. I didn't draw that. It was her. I can't believe instead of apologizing, now you have the audacity to blame it on us. Yeah, we saw him, Miss Redmond. Outside, right now. Chris sighed as he grabbed his bag and stepped out. I can have you expelled for this, but because you're new, I'm letting you go with a warning and detention for an hour after school. Room number 103. This was probably the most humiliating experience for Chris in his entire school life. He was relieved when the dismissal bell rang after a long class. And as all other students were going home, Chris headed to room 103 and sat down. There was no one inside. Chris started to suppose he came to the wrong place, when suddenly more students started coming in. The first student was a girl. Seeing Chris, she sat down beside him. Hey, are you new? I've never seen you before. Yeah, I moved here from Australia. Cool, I'm Laura. What grade are you in? Chris, 10th. I'm in 11th. Two other students then walked in and sat down. Hey dude, I'm Scott. Hi, I'm Anna. He's an Aussie, guys. So how was it there? Do you like it here? Australia? Cool, mate. Then you probably aren't afraid of snakes. Scott pulled up his bag and opened the zipper. Chris widened his eyes, seeing him coil up a rather large snake around his neck. You brought a snake to school? Yeah, I bring her every day. Not like anyone's checking. That's crazy, mate. And to be honest, back in Australia, there was a lot of nature in Birdsville. I lived in a remote, outback town. I used to go hunting and fishing with my dad, even by myself sometimes. But now I feel like I'm caged. So today was your first day? How'd it go? Well, I got detention on my first day. How do you think it went? What happened? I saw what happened. This girl named Jennifer drew this dirty pic of Miss Redmond in his book, and you know how Miss Redmond is. Yikes, Miss Redmond? Yeah, I remember her from sophomore year. She's really rude. If she likes you, she'll pass you, and if she doesn't like you, she'll fail you. Your work doesn't really matter in her class. Yeah, you're gonna have a tough year. Chris looked at Anna. I don't remember seeing you in class. Yeah, that's because I usually stay in the back, away from all the hustle. Tell me about it. It was a long day. I don't know what's her problem with me. She's one of those trolls. She's just trying to scare you. Trolls like her don't stop until you teach them a lesson. She deserves a little of her own medicine. So why don't you scare her? How? She has her buddies to back her up. Hold up, I have an idea. Scott? Laura looked at Scott's bag when a big smile appeared on his face. Why don't you take Scott's snake to the class tomorrow and scare them? What? If I get caught with that, I'll be in big trouble, and Miss Redmond hates me as is. Dude, just deny it. Oh, come on, you can't deny something like that. No. We gotta be smart. This is what you're gonna do. During lunch break tomorrow, you come to this room and pick up the snake from Scott. When it will be time for class, Scott will sneak out to the yard, outside the classroom. You will have to make sure you sit by the window and keep it a little open so you can slip the snake out when it's time. Perfect. Just hand her over to me. She always listens to me when I call her. You can count on me, dude. They'll never find her. As the friends figured their master plan, the door suddenly creaked open. Chris looked at a teacher walk in, looking at the time anxiously. "Good afternoon, students. I'm so sorry to get here so late. Come on, let me sign your detention slips so you can get headed back home. We've had enough school for one day." Chris took out his slip and handed it to the woman. "Here you go. Are you new here?" "Yes, I'm Chris." "Nice to meet you, Chris. I'm Miss De Niro." Chris smiled, seeing how polite and nice she was. She was letting them all go half an hour early. "So how was your day? I was getting worried. I thought you were supposed to be back an hour ago." "Yeah, I was, but I made a couple friends. It was okay." "Okay, that's great. You have friends already?" Chris didn't tell his mother anything. He knew she was a little worried already, and he didn't want to worry her anymore. And right now, Chris had a lot of other plans to be stressing about. The next morning, Chris walked into the classroom, greeted with an uninviting glare from Miss Redmond. He tried to ignore all the comments being passed by Jennifer and her gang. "What happened, kangaroo? Got sleep last night, or were you up drawing hot pics of Miss Redmond?" Chris just ignored them. Spotting Anna towards the back, he waved at her and took a seat. He couldn't wait till lunch break. And at exactly 1 p.m., he hurried to room 103. And sure enough, Scott was waiting for him there. "As long as you're calm, she'll stay calm. Just stay still, she'll coil around your arm." Chris was a little anxious, but this wasn't the first time he was handling a snake, so he was easily able to nestle it into his bag. "I'll give you the signal, alright?" "Alright, see you in 20 minutes." This time, Chris was the first to be back in the classroom after lunch. He set up his bag and opened the window before he sat down, eagerly waiting for Scott to arrive. But when Jennifer, Dan, and the rest arrived first, Chris started to get a little impatient. "Wow, Kangaroo hopped back to class pretty fast. Where were you? Ran away to cry during lunch break, mate? You didn't have to eat your Vegemite behind the bleachers, dude." Chris suddenly noticed Scott give him a thumbs up outside. He smiled as he turned to Jennifer. "You know, there are other animals in Australia besides the kangaroo." "Yeah, we know. We aren't as slow as you, koala." "I meant to say, Australia's pretty well known for its snakes, venomous ones. And do you know which one is the most deadliest?" Chris opened up his bag as they all stared at him with their crooked faces. "What's your point, kangaroo?" Jennifer snarled, just when she saw something wriggle out of Chris's bag. Dan was the first to stumble back as Jennifer widened her eyes. "What the freak, dude? Get that away from us!" "You don't want to pet it? I'm telling you, snakes can be much more friendlier than kangaroos," he said, letting the snake loose just a bit towards Dan. "Call Miss Redmond. Man, keep that thing under control." When the others in the classroom realized what had happened, they all started screaming. That's when one of the students shouted, "Where did you get that snake? That's Nagini! That's Nagini! Nagini's back!" As chaos ran loose in the classroom, Miss Redmond arrived, and seeing Chris carrying a large snake around in his arms, she went berserk. "You Australian maniac! How pathetic, you little... How dare you try to pull off a prank like this in my class?" Just then, the security arrived. Miss Redmond turned around nervously, seeing the principal step in, staring directly at her. As everyone sat in their seats, Chris quickly let the snake loose out of the window and sat down. "Please tell me I did not just hear you speak like that to one of the students. This is unacceptable, Miss Redmond." "Mr. Richardson, I can explain. This Australian boy, he brought a snake to the class." "Miss Redmond, I have been hearing complaints about you from the students. I was just waiting to confirm it myself." "I'm sorry, Miss Redmond, but we can't have teachers like you as part of our staff. It's a shame we hired someone like you in the first place." Staring at the students and all the authorities present, Miss Redmond rushed out of the room in shame. The security guards then searched the room and all bags, but they obviously couldn't find any snake anywhere. But when all the students kept insisting, security cameras were checked, but there was no snake whatsoever. It seemed that Chris took something out of his bag, but there was nothing in his hands. Come in, Mr. Ledger. Yes, Mr. Richardson. I apologize for what you had to experience, but I assure you, you won't be seeing Miss Redmond again. But as for you, I don't know what everyone is talking about, but I clearly didn't see anything in the footage, so you are free to go. Thank you, Mr. Richardson. But I did see you had detention yesterday, and you didn't attend. What? No, I did go. I have the detention slip. The teacher signed it for me. Can you show it to me? Chris searched his bag and took out the slip. But to his surprise, it wasn't signed. There must be a mistake. I spoke with her. There were other students there. What was the teacher's name? Miss De Niro. The principal's face suddenly turned pale. What? Miss De Niro? That can't be. Mr. Richardson excused Chris from detention. However, Chris couldn't understand why he seemed so bothered. After school that day, Chris hurried to meet Anna, but he couldn't find her anywhere. He then headed to room 103 to meet with Laura and Scott. But the room was empty. Chris walked down the hall, not knowing where to find them, when he suddenly noticed a plaque on the wall. Chris froze seeing a picture of Miss De Niro, Laura, Scott, Anna, and even the snake. It was a school laboratory pet. They had all passed away in a tragic event that took place in the school almost 2 years ago. They were trapped in room 103 when it happened. Where did you get that snake? That's Nagini! That's Nagini! Nagini's back! I don't remember seeing you in class. What? Miss De Niro? That can't be. Then, who did I speak to? Who did I see? Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.